Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say? And our card for tonight is the Four of Cups, which is related to luxury. And this is kind of a vibe of a protective instinct, emotional strength, stability, deepening love. All right. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is just number 7. If you've watched any of my other, it seems like every single reading, maybe not every single reading, but a lot of the readings, so many 7s, little 7s, big 7s, lots of 7s. It's just really, it seems to be important. I don't know if this is just coming through for me or all of us. If you are experiencing a lot of 7s in your life, I'd love to hear about it. What is your relationship to 7? Because it is really, I mean, I just cannot believe how prominent. And right now, as I'm filming this, we're in the 7th month. So, you know, that might be part of it, but this has been going on for months now. So that 7 is really important. I have come to a thinking that it has a lot to do with alignment. Okay, really getting all the spheres of your being kind of you know, working together in a balance, symbiotic, and just kind of harmonious way. Okay, so that means that we're working on all parts of self, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. We are working on those things. We are integrating those things. We are not avoiding them, you know, and we're gaining knowledge through energetic exchange, which, you know, that is not easy. That takes a lot of devotion. And okay, I want to look at this one. This one is really interesting because I was just telling my husband I had a weird experience with something that looked like some kind of like a jellyfish last night, in kind of a weird, dreamy, waking state. I woke up after, you know, I was falling asleep for about 45 minutes and something woke me up. And I looked over in the corner of the room, kind of near the doorway, and I saw something that I thought it was a person. And I sat up. And then I realized that it was not. It was like kind of transparent, and it was some kind of, it looked like a watery figure with like kind of tentacles. I told him it kind of reminded me of like Cthulhu or something, but it was more like a jellyfish. It was weird. It was very like watery looking, but it also looked very much like kind of a hovering thing, like a gelatinous thing with all of these kind of tentacles coming down. And I thought, am I sleeping? Am I asleep right now? What is going on? And I've seen things like this before, years ago. Experienced them in visions, and but it's been a long time since I had something so, you know, so it felt so real and immediate, in a semi-waking state. So it was different. But I've also been doing, you know, a lot of different kind of active imagination and visualization experiments and practices, because it helps me with my readings, and it helps me work through some of the energies that come up in my readings. And so I feel like seeing this is really a confirmation for me, and I feel that it's very much shared with you, Pisces. I mean, Pisces, to me, what I've learned through doing these readings is that you all are very, you have such a deep psychic connection to the collective. You are very tuned in, and you know, sometimes that can make it very difficult for you, because I think that people don't always receive you well. They don't necessarily believe you. They kind of shrug it off. So you have to kind of turn to yourself for this kind of, you know, support. Or you have, you know, small social circles. Maybe you belong to a system, or you know, a grouping of practitioners or believers or whatever it is. But even in those places, a lot of people are there for the, you know, pomp and circumstance and the social climbing and these kinds of things. Sorry to say that, but, you know, it's true. And so you have to kind of turn to yourself in your own interior world to kind of sort some of this stuff out. And hopefully you're reading and, you know, listening to lectures and all kinds of things, because what I have found as a solitary practitioner is that even if you are not meeting people in real life, you know, that are helping kind of support your journey or give you some kind of, you know, verification of a shared experience. When you read, I mean, all kinds of different practitioners, it doesn't have to just be a cult. It could be people like Terrence McKenna, or, you know, one of my favorites, Robert Anton Wilson. I mean, you know, whatever. There's so many different kinds of paths to go down. But when you feel like you are in good company, and they're talking about ideas, experiences, motifs that speak to you, it feels like, okay, this is, you know, somebody has kind of at least been in the realm that I am in. A little bit. We've had, you know, some crossover. So that feels, I mean, for me anyways, that feels good. Feels good. There's sometimes, you know, where I have these my dream world is really intense. Not all the time, but a good part of the time. And I will have experiences where I see things in my dreams that I've never really witnessed anywhere else or read about, heard somebody talk about. And then like one day, I'll be flipping through, you know, some kind of artwork or something, and I'll find something depicted just like I saw. And it's like, okay, that's crazy. But I'm not the only one. Somebody else, you know, somebody else knows. They're on the level. So we see this jellyfish, and I think, you know, there's there is something going on, stirrings of something. I feel like you have, here we go. We have a turtle or tortoise, and we have the shell, and it looks like it's eating something. It has kept going and kept going until it found its lettuce, right? It has persevered. It's taken its time. It continues on. It will not be deterred. Okay, and I feel like that is kind of the vibe that you have. And now I see a person standing here, and it looks like they have their hand up, and I think almost like pointing, but to me what this kind of says is like they're about to say something. And within this context, and because this is in an emotional area, psychic area, and it's pointing up towards this metaphysical area, I feel like this has to do with affirmations, sacred utterances. And I think that this is something for you to focus on. If you don't know what an affirmation or an utterance is, these could be like magical words. This could be a prayer. This could be a kind of like a mantra. If you don't know what yours would be or nothing comes to you, go look it up. Look up just a list, you know, of these things and see there's something that maybe are power words, like a power phrase for you. Okay. And I think that this is all about bringing yourself closer to a space that you have been building in yourself, a sacred temple, right? And we apply these kind of magical phrases or a word or the way that we say a word in a certain way, and that is related to kind of the passageway to this place within ourselves. Okay, and that maybe that sounds silly, but it's kind of like how when people repeat and they're getting to a place of quiet stillness, that kind of humming, vibrating frequency, that kind of just ever so slightly goes over your whole body from the inside out, and it just kind of vibrates through you, and you can't help but come down to a very grounded, very kind of emptied and clear space, right? And that's like its own kind of temple in a way. Your body getting into that relaxed posture. And so we can do this with other things, places of love, places of passion, places of strength, right? Being brave, fortified. These are all things that we can build within ourselves. And sometimes it's easier to picture this as a actual location in yourself, like a little room, you know. So you're trying to be brave, drop some strength for yourself, right? And so you picture a little room, maybe it's in your chest, and it is maybe it's painted like a vibrant orange color, and you have your sacred word, and you're going to say it, and you're going to say it, and you're going to picture yourself opening the door to this room, where when you walk into this room, you feel like nothing could stop you. You're a lion, a tiger, maybe a bear. And that strength is growing and growing and just emanating off of you. And when you stand in this room and when you utter that word, that phrase, it takes you right there. And that's where you kind of manifest this form that you go into. Okay, and this, you know, might sound silly, but try it. Try it. I do this a lot for patience. Finding some patience, calming myself down so I don't lose it. Okay. And so I want you to think about what is in your temple. If you could go to these different rooms within your temple, what does it look like? What would you bring in there? What are the colors? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? I think it's an interesting practice to try. It might sound tedious, but I promise you, you have little moments in your day where you can think about this. And when your emotions start to feel out of your control, or life is kind of building up on you, and you just need something to get yourself out of there for a second, this maybe is something to think about. Okay, now it looks like we have a large duck and we're looking at this jellyfish on the side here, and I almost feel like it's like a large duck, and then it looks like a person kind of sitting, and they have a bunch of squiggly arms, and it looks like they're almost, I don't know, this one looks like a flower to me. But there's almost kind of an offering going on. And we have these smaller people down here with their arms up. Okay, so they look like they're in a devotional posture. And so I feel like this is almost kind of a divine situation happening here. We have a duck who is, I think about when they sit on the water and the waves go through and they kind of just bob up and down. They are unbothered. They are built to do this. They, roll with those waves, roll with the punches. They are, have the wherewithal, the understanding of how to just go with the flow of things. And then we have this kind of, it looks like a cosmic being, right? I almost think of, kind of like Mahakali back here. And, sitting in this seated posture, in this enthroned posture, this is kind of a sign of great wisdom, of being, wholly nurtured and nurturing, very much a source of energy and love and light. And again, with that kind of energetic exchange of knowledge, okay? And so this is kind of a knowing of the divine, a relationship of that highest form of love, the agape, okay? And so when we put these things together, to me, this is kind of that finding a middle way through situations where you do not surrender yourself completely to something. You will not be stumbled upon, but you are not going to allow yourself to be taken up into these, heightened emotions, becoming reactionary, making poor decisions. You will walk through a situation even on an even keel, right, with an open and clear mind, and you do what you must, right? And this is kind of the way through these mundane situations into this divine space. This is where we can kind of find the doorways, right, to lead to more of our spiritual engagements. And what do I mean by that? Really, it is that we're not spending all of our days worried about who said this, who said that. What do I need? What do I need to procure? What do I need to fill my life with, objects and things. Being upset about a missed opportunity, feeling slighted, unfair. Should be mine. I should have been able to do that. Or lamenting, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that, I'm so stupid, I should have, whatever, all these things. These are all distractions. These are all things that take away from the quality of our existence. And so when we can walk through life as much as possible, right? I'm not perfect. I work on this constantly every day, and I barely even, scratch the surface of things. And, once though we get to a point where we can walk through situations with confidence, not that we know everything, but that we will not let them affect us deeply. We will not be deterred from our mission, our path, our will, right? Then we come to know that divine thing, that divine understanding, that, being held in the grace. And, then we have these devotional beings down here. And of course, you don't have to be devoted to anything. You don't have to have any religious or spiritual practices. I don't think so at all. I think just living well, or as well as you can. Being the ever student, always kind of having your mind in, evolving, doing better for yourself, especially spiritually. Okay, those are all things. Those things are, in my mind, the true acts of devotion. The virtues, ultimately, right? Partaking in the virtuous acts are the virtues. And if you don't know what those are, go look them up. I mean, there's differing ones, but you can kind of get an idea. So we have an I and an I, maybe an L, lowercase l. I don't know what that is, but there's a big I. So we'll see. We'll see if something comes of that. Also, this one, I just have been looking at this in it. I think, I wonder, is there like a Taurus person in your life? It seems important. I wonder if this is somebody that, I kind of wonder if this is somebody that, if you know a Taurus person and they come to mind, somebody that you could learn something from, something important to your path. So go and commune with them, have a conversation. There's something there, okay? If you're not already, close enough to talk to one another, kind of open the lines of conversation. Just kind of see how they're doing, see what's going on with them. What are they thinking about? I think that this could be an interesting place. Okay, and down here we have basically nothing. The one dot. And to me, this is not that there's nothing, but I feel like there really is just a sense of emotional wholeness in this time. When you are focused on your interior work, you feel at home. When you are focused on, self-work, you feel like there is meaning to your life, meaning to the things that you're doing. A lot of aha moments. And I think that's wonderful, and it's hard. Sometimes we get off course. We get busy, we get wound up in things. Stuff happens in our life. Circumstances lead us astray. And that's just the nature of being, right? But being able to find your way back to the path, back to the work, applying the work to those situations, to those crises or mundane things, the tedium. That is when you know that you have made some kind of, strides forward. when you can think, okay, I know, I thought about this, I learned about this, I know something that would help with this. A lot of the mindfulness practices, those are big ones. Journaling, writing about things, getting these feelings out, right? Not carrying the stress with us, the hurt with us. All right, so I'm gonna say thank you so much for allowing me to bring these messages to you. It is always such an honor. If you would be so kind as to like the video, helps us get into the algorithm, and we are growing the channel. We just went over 12K and we're still growing. And if you haven't subscribed already, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos come out. I don't want you to miss any. You can watch your other placements, your major 3, your Venus, do some cross watching. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment or 5 or 10, please do. I read them all, and I love getting to know you all, and I do through the comments. I really do. I'm starting to, there's a few of you, I feel like you're, you know, longtime friends, honestly. So, you know, I really feel honored to read about your lives, about the things that you're doing, you know, and all the sweet comments as well. Those keep me going. I'm, you know, I kind of thrive on kindness. So anyhow, I want to thank you, and we'll talk again really soon.